Hello there, and welcome back to the Beyond Blood Sugar podcast. If you've ever wondered why you're always hungry, or you feel exhausted after meals, maybe you can't shake those sugar cravings, then keep on listening because you're going to find out today. So, a lot of people blame themselves, thinking they just need more willpower or more discipline or more brute force. But what if I told you that sometimes this hunger and these energy crashes and cravings are not always about willpower? They can actually be your body's response to insulin and blood sugar imbalances. So, today we're going to be diving into why you might feel this way, what might be happening inside your body, and most importantly, how you can start feeling better. So, let's start by clearing something up. Okay. If you struggle with this hunger and exhaustion and cravings thing that I've been talking about, it's not a fault thing. Okay. These aren't just bad habits. Oftentimes, there are biological signals your body is sending because something is off. Okay. Your body's energy system is regulated by hormones, and one of the most powerful of them is insulin. And when insulin is working properly, your body can switch between burning sugar and burning fat for energy. But when insulin resistance kicks in, or there's other things that are going off with insulin, things can go sideways. So remember, insulin resistance doesn't just mean your body, or it doesn't mean your body stops making insulin. In fact, it often means the opposite. Your body's making too much insulin, but your cells aren't responding to it properly. Remember our analogy from episode one of insulin being like a key trying to unlock the door. In a healthy system, insulin easily opens the door to let the sugar into cells for energy, but with insulin resistance, things get a little rusty. The keys don't always work, and your body makes more and more and more insulin trying to open the door. Okay. We talked about that in episode one. So at first, blood sugar looks normal. But behind the scenes, again, insulin is skyrocketing. The body gets stuck in a loop where it's pumping out way too much insulin, keeping your blood sugars, trying to keep your blood sugars low, but making you feel like you're starving. So you crave fast energy, sugar and carbs, right? And this is kind of where that cycle begins. So this process can go on for years before your blood sugar levels ever look high on a test, okay? And by the time your blood sugar is flagged as an issue, insulin resistance has likely been going on for a long time. Okay. We talked about this. Now, before you start thinking that, you know, this is just a hopeless cycle, okay? It's not. Stick with me. You absolutely can get out of this cycle, but it starts with understanding what's really happening. So let's kind of take a sidestep and talk about blood sugar spikes and crashes because that's what's happening behind some of these cravings and energy swings. Okay. So picture this. You start your day with a bowl of organic oatmeal or maybe a banana and some whole grain toast. Sounds healthy to some, right? But what happens next is a big blood sugar spike. Okay. Which means your body floods your system with insulin to bring it down. And guess what? Too much insulin can drop your blood sugar too low, leaving you tired and foggy and craving sugar to fix the crash. Okay. Here's the thing though, this isn't the same as insulin resistance. Earlier, we talked about insulin resistance causing insulin levels to stay high, leading to hunger. But this is what happens when your body overcompensates, causing a dramatic drop in blood sugar. Both scenarios can drive cravings, but for different reasons. And here's the cycle. The more you spike, the harder you crash. The harder you crash, the more you crave. Okay. And this happens day after day, reinforcing insulin resistance over time due to constantly high insulin from these spikes, blood sugar spikes due to your diet. Okay. So they kind of play into one another. And it's not just junk food that's causing the problem. Even, quote, healthy, and I use quotes because I have a different idea of what healthy means, but even these healthy foods like fruit smoothies or whole grain toast or granola bars can spike blood sugar just as much as a donut. And let's talk about caffeine for a minute, because I know a lot of people rely on coffee or energy drinks to get through the day. But did you know that caffeine can actually cause a stress response that raises cortisol and spikes blood sugar? So if you're drinking coffee first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, you're actually making the blood sugar roller coaster worse. And, this is something that my husband experiences a lot. If he's just last week, actually, he did a 4-day fast because he was wanting to get into just, there's a lot of wonderful things that come into play with extended fast, but he wanted to also get into a deep nutritional ketosis. And then when he came off of his fast, and, a morning shortly after he had coffee and he checked his ketone levels and his blood sugar, and his ketones had drastically dropped to where they were barely registering, and his blood sugar was way higher than what it should have been. And it was because of his coffee. So, if you're someone that wakes up exhausted and drags through the morning and needs a snack or a coffee to keep going, you could be running on this blood sugar high low roller coaster that we just talked about. So the solution to that is needing to stop these constant spikes and to get your body burning fuel efficiently. So now that we've talked a little bit about what's happening, let's talk about, how do we break free from this cycle? One of the biggest game changers is simply starting your day with protein and fat, for example, not carbs. So think about it like this. If your first meal of the day spikes your insulin, you're setting yourself up for an entire day potentially of these ups and downs. But if you start your day with something like, eggs and avocado or protein focused breakfast, you have a better chance of keeping your insulin stable right from the start. And here's another simple but powerful tool. Take a 10-minute walk after meals. Movement helps the body use up excess blood sugar before insulin stores it as fat. Okay. Again, oversimplifying, but you get the idea. It's one of the easiest, most effective ways that you can help begin the process of improving insulin sensitivity. Lastly, stop thinking about food as just calories. Food is information for your body. The types of food you eat literally change the way your hormones function. So instead of fighting cravings, change the input, okay? Give your body the right signals to keep insulin low and energy stable. So stay tuned for more on this one, as I have a fun episode lined up in the near future on this misnomer of calories in versus calories out. But there's just a really brief introduction of it. So that's it for today's short episode. I really hope that, you know, like this whole hunger, cravings, energy crash thing, there's so much that goes into it. But I hope that you understand a little bit more about, what is one of the things that's happening behind the scenes and a few things that you can do to help that cycle. So, in our next episode, we're going to be tackling the 3 big lies about insulin and metabolism that keep you stuck. And it's another fun episode. And by the way, most of the episodes that I do, I like to keep under 15 minutes because I like it to be just short and digestible, something that you can listen to in a car ride or maybe when you're getting ready for work in the morning. I don't like to make them long because I want you to be able to digest them in one small chunk. So, again, if today's episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you found this helpful, share it with a friend who might need to hear this too. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.